It's funny. One of the captives was my buddy Lamont, and this was like very early in the script. We've been friends since film school, and we were at Fantastic Fest sitting in some bar, and Corey and I are talking about like, damn, casting the naked people is going to be real hard. Blah, blah, blah. And then Lamont just looks up and he's like, I'll do it. He's like, I'll do it for free. We paid him, but he was like, I'll do it for free. I don't give a shit. And I was like, all right, well, there's one down.
Fuck yeah.
The search of the 3 missing Montgomery College students continues in Frederick County.
And I got to play with your wand. It was great.
Definitely fuck.
Keep going. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Footage Foreplay. Is that what he does?
Oh, y'all dry. Y'all dry.
Y'all dry. We're just going to jump right into this. I am taking Terrell's hosting role right now because he's been tied up and kidnapped and he's on his way across the border. Either that happened or maybe he has a router being installed in his house minutes before he knew we had an interview. So no sympathy for him. I'm sorry y'all don't get his energy today, but we'll get to talk about filmmaking. So James, Karsen, I'm so glad you guys are here. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Likewise.
We missed you.
Dude, y'all have been crushing it on the film circuit, it looks like.
Oh, thanks, man. We're doing all right. We're playing at Dark Bridges June 5th in Saskatoon, Canada.
Nothing, Evan?
Saskatoon. I just remember isn't it Grown Ups where they're like, oh, this guy's from Saskatoon, and I didn't get it. I'm like,
Evan's one of those. He worships Canada, Rush, Trailer Park Boys. So I thought you'd have something.
I don't. They don't really mention Saskatoon and Trailer Park Boys.
What a missed opportunity.
I do love me some Rush, though.
It is.
Oh, dude.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Look who's in the first picture, dude. Incredible.
Oh, hell yeah.
Boys.
Well, again, for anybody listening, y'all are with the movie that won our jury award for Best Feature. Now, first, congratulations. Our head of jury's not here, Terrell. And I always get a little oogie. Like, so also with this show, all the guests that have been booked, that's all Oksana. And I think she might have had a plan to have award winners on, maybe. But I have no idea. It just kind of worked out that way. And I always get kind of grossed out when I feel like things are getting like incestuous. And I like you guys so much that it's almost when people like you win awards, I almost feel like, fuck, should we have done that? Like, I feel like they're family. They like, I don't know.
Well, we're glad that we did win, and we're glad to be homies with you too.
And I will tell you, I was kind of shocked when I heard it because normally movies have a lot of momentum, and year one at UF, we did try to tell people like, it's not your favorite film. Like, because we're the only film fest out here doing this, I do think it's important to acknowledge movies that are doing something interesting in the in-world camera like genre. And I'm like, so really, like, Terrell goes in there with the mission, and I apologize for everybody listening to this podcast. I say this every time, but I do feel it is important that you guys didn't win because you rolled out with a big group of people and you were all great, or it wasn't like a personality boots on the ground thing. It was because people made a very good argument for your film, which is y'all didn't need to reinvent the wheel. You just did it very well. And you reminded people that you could just make a good fucking found footage horror movie. So, y'all earned it. And when he told me that, I was like, man, good job, Terrell, because they did the heavy lifting there. And yeah, I think you guys deserved it. So again, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, since he's not here, I'll say this out loud, but I'm a little jealous that Terrell gets to sit in on the jury stuff. Because it seems like it's cool. Like the conversations they have about the movies and stuff is like, it's interesting,
Yeah. And again, we're not involved in that jury thing at all. Terrell's the only member of the team. And then we get people who are either filmmakers, artists, like, like minds who have been in the production world. And I again, the thing that they kept mentioning about the Killing Cell was y'all had characters in a found footage horror movie, which isn't a given. Like a lot of the times, we start with this genre where the premise is these people are going to die. Watch that happen. And
I feel like caricatures are even more common than characters,
Yep.
So it's always just some two-dimensional people that you're like, all right, well, I can't wait for this fucking jerk off to die. And like,
you're talking about Florida Man?
Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't give them that,
Yeah, you can't write a character, so your character was just you.
No, but I like that it. I don't know. It's like it reminded me like the first time I saw it was. I feel like not long after we had been assigned a movie on here from Only Found Footage fans, where it's a group of friends who go into asylum, and it's so night and day. Like seeing your guys' movie and having a likable, believable group of people versus whatever the fuck that was we watched that Only Found Footage fans gave us.
Okay, let's not turn this into punching down on another movie.
Well,
we're here to celebrate theirs.
It's like they have like you said, the setup is something we've seen, but it's so elevated above all those other movies that do the group here loves Grave Encounters, but I think I like Killing Cell more. I think it's a better asylum horror film than Grave Encounters.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
How do y'all feel about Grave Encounters?
I've never seen it.
It was a big inspiration for me. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, my inspirations were like mostly not found footage movies.
Love it. Like what?
Like I've mentioned this a few times. Bone Tomahawk was like probably our biggest inspiration on the script. And kind of like you're saying, I love like horror movies that build up realistic characters that they almost lead you into not remembering you're in a horror movie in the first half, and then just start stripping them away from you. And it feels like you're losing your friends, which is what we attempted. I don't know. Seems like people are responding to it. But yeah, that was like kind of our goal with the structure of the film. And, especially the tonal shift with the Sean scene, and that there's a big tonal shift in Bone Tomahawk, and that was like we talked heavily about that during the writing.
Yeah, I do think the jury was. There were a couple of people who made emotional pleas for your movie to win, based on being bummed when people die, which is not. You know what I mean? Like, that's a huge takeaway from a found footage horror film. I mean, so much so that whenever people make an argument that found footage movies don't have characters, the first thing I think of is Up 2. We showed a movie called Webcast. Shout out to Paul. That's a good movie with like people you're rooting for. When like the genre you got into, it's like, well, it's probably not going to work out good for them in the end, but. So, yeah, but I'd like to start. Now, before we started recording, I was prodding James on the stuff in his background. And I was kind of shocked to hear you have comic books and lightsabers up there.
Oh,
not that we're not kindred souls. I have a stack of graphic novels I just bought from a bookstore closing. And I spent last night talking about the problems with Star Wars and like the many mouths they're trying to feed with the new franchise. So since you mentioned you had a lightsaber, are you excited about Mandalorian?
Oh, I already saw it. He's laughing because I told him about that. I saw it. I thought it was good. Yeah, I saw it with a good friend of mine, our production designer, actually, Erin Jackson. She loved it. I thought it was really good. I love that stupid puppet so much. It's just so, like, I don't know. And there's a good amount of practical effects in it. There's some cool, it's good. It's fun. I don't know.
I feel like you're tiptoeing. What do you really feel about the movie?
It just doesn't do anything that like the show didn't really do. I thought that there would be a level of I thought it would elevate it a little bit since they were moving from TV to film or in theaters.
Yeah.
But it just kind of felt like more of the TV show, which I really enjoy the TV show. So it was cool to see more of that. I just thought it would step it up a little bit more.
You know, it's funny. So just for a little context, last night I had over one of the managers from the Alamo out here in San Francisco, and he is the guy that does all our animation. So like Uffy, he's the one that designed him and brings him to life for like the award show. You all saw that award show, right?
Yeah, we met him too, the Uffy.
Oh, good. Guy. Oh, perfect. So David, he made the exact same plea you did. And mind you, he just came from the Alamo where they had the 501 troupe, which is like a big group of like cosplayers come out. Yeah. And he dressed up like an Imperial captain. I don't know what the hell I don't know why he has that costume of all of them. But he came over and said the exact same thing. You know, like Phil Tippett worked on it. There's stop motion. There's puppets. Oh. And Phil's out here in the Bay Area too. Never reached out to him. I don't know why we haven't, but maybe for
what was that film he did?
Mad God?
Mad God.
That shit rules. I love Mad God.
Yeah, that movie's dope. Sorry.
Hell yeah.
Didn't mean to derail.
No, it's true. I mean, that is the thing. Like in this dawn of AI and the rejection of it, we're kind of thirsty for the hands-on craft. But I wonder if do you think the show is too cinematic and that it's hard to bring because normally a show would be like a one camera gig, and then when you go to a movie you have a higher budget and it just feels like the impact, the storytelling. But like the show, I'll tell you, when we came out of that new trilogy and I just jumped into Mandalorian, I was like, thank God, because I was so bummed after that last film that it felt like it saved it. So I'm excited. I bought a Grogu popcorn bucket already. I don't know if y'all know that I'm a huge Star Wars nerd.
I didn't know Terrell was here.
He's here?
About buying popcorn buckets and shit
with his deck.
Russell's never said, "Oh, I got this popcorn bucket." I forgot who I was talking to for a second.
Dude, Oksana made fun of me for getting it, but I'm excited. So I don't know. James, how do you feel about it? Like, where does it rank for you?
I would put it, like, obviously I'm a big original trilogy fan. The reason I'm such a big Star Wars fan in general is because my parents were really big fans, so they showed it to me when I was a kid, my mom especially. They also they're not prequel fans. I'm not really a prequel fan either. They're just not really my jam. Like even Revenge of the Sith, I think is mostly cringy in a lot of points. Anyway, I would say this is like, it'd go original trilogy, and then I like Rogue One quite a bit, and then Mandalorian and Grogu, and then the prequels, and then the sequel trilogy.
What about the other shows? Are you into those?
I love Andor. Andor is like the level of writing that Andor has is like what I wish that like Mandalorian and Grogu had, like the movie version.
I've never watched it.
You never watched Andor? Oh, Andor.
No, I'm bad with TV. That's the only thing. I love movies. So I know this might seem like a weird tangent to go on, but I do think, back when it became like a new thing to be, like it was cool to be a nerd and people were like, oh, I like Star Wars. It's like, man, liking Star Wars doesn't make you a nerd. Those are good movies. Like giving a shit about the interdimensional politics is what makes you a fucking nerd. Oh, and that's where I am. But I do think there's something to storytelling when you pay attention to an IP on kind of like, how does the grid work here? Like, what is the internal logic of the movie? So, being like a big box IP guy brings its own value. And then, we have Karsen over here talking about Bone Tomahawk. So what are you, more like the art house guy?
Well, so this is like the funny dynamic of me and James. I'm like a big fan of like Sam Peckinpah is one of my favorite directors.
Okay.
I like gritty westerns and crime movies a lot. We're both like, the big overlap between me and James is like horror. We both love horror. And we like a lot of the same other stuff, but like our interests tend to go in like different directions sometimes. And I think that was kind of one of the things that worked well with this film is like our sensibilities kind of aligning and clashing in interesting ways that I think like ultimately elevated the material we were working on. And so that was kind of fun. But yeah, no, big fan of like The Wild Bunch and The Unforgiven.
Come on. Yeah. Okay. We're film dorks too. You don't have to like dumb. I opened up with Star Wars, which was so shocking to Evan that he called me Terrell. So just know I'm a Peck and Paw fan too. I love the Colorado Westerns. We have a theater out here that only shows the Stanford Theater, shout out. They only show like golden era American film. So they'll do like Western runs. And they did like a Jimmy Stewart Western run that was like, oh, this fucking rules. So I'm there with you. I'm sitting next to a God, I'm gonna mess up the title even though it's next to me, but it's like The Noir of the West, which is a collection of books during the noir era that had like a different impact. So I got movies for you.
Yeah, you should send me some recs.
Dude, I will for sure.
You seen Gunsmoke? That's why I always have to ask. I love Westerns and I love Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
Come on.
Gunsmoke with James Arness. Fucking
on the
banger.
God on the Overlook Hour, I used to do a segment that was called like Shadows in the Desert or something. And it was all based on like noir Western. So, me and Karsen, we like art, Evan. Okay.
What's the Lee Van Cleef one that's like a giallo Western where he's following the train? Fuck.
Ooh, I don't know.
I'm gonna find it.
That sounds fucking sweet. Mm-hmm. I was trying to bring up one that I feel like gets slept on a lot, The Great Silence.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's such a good Western. I feel like nobody's seen that. I think that's Carbucci, right? Pretty sure that's a good one.
I think I have that book right next. Whatever.
Yeah, Sergio Corbucci. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Karsen, what I was getting to here, you picked up like. I feel like y'all get along well. I hung out with you. Also, thank y'all for coming out in such a big group for the whole fest.
You're stuck to be there. Everybody wanted to come check it out, so it worked out good.
Dude, and again, just in case y'all, like people listening who didn't come out to the fest, it wasn't a very easy ride for them either. They had probably the single complication with their film, and we had to move it back a little bit. And
definitely the biggest like tech hurdle we had this year. But
and
we made it work.
But the biggest problem they had was that you got fucking rejected from the one bar in the area. What the hell happened there?
That was crazy. I don't know what happened. Just the lady working for some reason was like, she just said that one of our group's IDs were fake, and we're all like well over 21. Like I'm the youngest one in the group, and I was 23. I just turned 24. It's like none of us. That was very funny. The last night, the owner of that bar, though, we went back there, and he gave a couple of us a free shot.
He made it right.
Yeah.
Good.
Our producer, Corey King. Shout out. He gave him the what for. He was like, what the hell is up with this?
Dude, shit, he brought it up and he got you. The guy made it right with shot. Hell yeah, dude.
He was like, that's messed up. Refusing us service.
Dude, it is fucked up, especially when they have such a good working relationship with the Balboa Theater. Of course, if you've been out here, we're talking about the Hockey Haven. Shout out to them. It was funny. Y'all are out of town, and I think that was the story I heard. Was she was like, no, this shit looks fake as hell.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Shown it to someone else. The whole thing.
It was a thing.
Well, y'all do look very on the line of 18, which I think is maybe good. Y'all look young as hell.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for the movie. It felt like a bunch of kids who didn't know what the hell they were getting into.
Good, yeah.
I think I think it worked out.
Before we get too far from it, I found the movie that I was
Grand
referencing.
Duel?
It's called The Grand Duel. It's Lee Van Cleef, and it's a Western setting, but really it plays out like a giallo movie. You see these murders happen, and you're like, wait, who is this? It's like a black-gloved killer, and then you're kind of playing a guessing game the whole time of like, who's the killer and who's the good guy here. It's tight.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Tight. Well, I'm curious, like, are y'all old friends? How do you know each other?
We met in Atlanta. So we went to the same film school and met briefly once.
Yeah.
Never really talked. And then when I moved out to Atlanta, James was already there. And we hung out and we were like watching each other's films. And we were like, oh, we should work together. And so shortly after that, we did a project called Flea Pit, where we each wrote each other a script, and the other person had like no idea what that script was. And then we like traded them and each directed each other's material. And I acted in the one that James directed, and he acts in the one I made too.
In his, but yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was kind of like our first collaboration, and that was what, 2023?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So we've been friends for a while, and then we knew we were both. Neither of us initially ever planned on like co-directing anything. But we started collaborating on this project, and it just kind of worked out.
Hold on. Let's go back to Flea Pit. An homage to exploitation cinema, filmmakers James and Karsen team up with a collection of gruesome and chilling short films featuring research chemicals and scorched earth. You all made an anthology film together?
It's essentially an anthology. We included
inspired by like Grindhouse from like how like the Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez pairing.
Yeah, and we included a couple of our early short films in that. It's not really available anywhere, but at one point it was.
What happened?
I don't know. I think just for this film, we kind of like took our films down. They might be on the Blu-ray when we put it out.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there. So interesting. At this point, I'm guessing y'all have no money, and this was like a self-funded project.
Yeah, we crowdfunded.
Got
it. Both the films very cheap, though.
Yeah, very, very cheap.
So you crowdfunded for each project individually?
We did them as a duo.
Together. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
Split the budget, and we each got about $2,000 to make the film.
Oh, rad.
Yeah,
dude, that's a good amount.
Yeah, it was good. We tried some pretty ambitious stuff for that amount of money.
Yeah, a lot of it, went to special effects makeup.
Yeah,
good, as it should.
Yeah.
So I know Atlanta is one of the places in America that's still got a lot of film production, and y'all went to school out there. So did you have like a network of people, or is this just kind of y'all in it figuring it out together?
Well, we went to school at Full Sail in Orlando, and then a good amount of our group went to Atlanta. Corey King, our other producer and first AD on the movie, was in my class. And a handful of other people who helped out on the project were from the school, but not honestly, a lot of them were from us working in the industry. And then when we ended up making this movie, there was kind of like a period of downtime. And so a lot of people were willing to work for cheap or just come like they just wanted to come help. And so a lot of them were like connections we had made while working in Atlanta as like PAs and grips and stuff like that.
So you paid people?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We paid pretty much everybody. It was an expensive movie.
Yeah.
Well, because I know the problem is once you start playing with people who have like actually worked and then they're in like SAG or they're in like all these unions, it gets a little bit more complicated. And I do know that they have a micro budget option for SAG where it's like if they get any amount of money, it's like fine. And it could be like $50 or something. Did you run into any of that?
We didn't work with anyone in SAG. Sorry, James, go ahead.
You're good. Yeah, I mean, some of our crew were, IATSE members, but none of our actors were in SAG.
Now, you also brought up Corey twice. Now, Corey came out with you to the fest, right?
Yeah.
Even though, what the hell did Terrell call him the whole time?
Corey in the house.
He did eventually, but he kept getting
he called him something else first.
He called him Carlton.
Yeah. He kept calling him Carl and Carlton.
I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, from like Fresh Prince? He's like, oh, my boy Carlton. I'm like, I thought your name was Corey. He's like, yeah. But man, I just want to say, like, shout out to Corey. Y'all came out with the best group of people. But Corey told me a story, and not to like tell, he's not here, but he told me this whole story how he had like a foreman job and a house and liquidated all that to come out and make movies like with y'all, and did a bunch of like, he used all that knowledge in the killing cell and actually built stuff in your location.
Yeah. So the hidden cell block is like we built it on location at a real abandoned prison. It's like an entire set. So like half the walls in that room are flats. The cells are made of PVC and wood. And we spent, I want to say, at least a month building the entire set. And me and Corey lived together at the time in Atlanta. And we would just every day, like we both took work off for like 2 months. James did too. None of us really worked. And we had people just coming over to the house on their days off. And we're all just building this whole set that we ended up packing into U-Haul, driving 2 hours to the location. And then essentially for the first 3 days of filming, we had a team of people building that set on location.
While we were elsewhere in the prison filming the beginning of the film.
So is this...
it was pretty complicated, yeah.
Was this the biggest production y'all have ever done?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, yeah. So here's what I would like to do. If y'all could walk us through how you go from, I mean, the anthology kind of like collaborative half movie is not that big of a stretch from like a lot of people we talk to. Because again, the thing with found footage horror and in-world camera is there's an easy entry because you don't need a huge budget. And a lot of it's based on like authenticity and like playing with reality, which you can do for free. You just need some good writing and good ideas, and then you can get elevated up there. And y'all, I think part of the reason why your movie made such an impact is the production end. And I know when we watched it, we were really impressed with the special effects. Like, one, you had a location. 2, there was like set. And then 3, the gore felt like we were watching like an underground German film, which is, you know, the highest compliment I could give, where it's like, it felt like gritty and like unrelenting with not a huge budget. And which I do think now, like, gore seems like a cheat code to kind of get into the horror community. And there's a lot of money being thrown around, and like shows like The Walking Dead and stuff, they kind of glorified it and polished it into a way where it's kind of like, I don't know, people are jaded. So with what you did, it made an impact. And I just want to know how you went from like $2,000 on a Kickstarter fund to like making The Killing Cell, which I don't know what kind of budget you had, and you don't have to throw that out there. I don't know if you're still in negotiations for distro or anything, but we have so many filmmakers that listen to this that I would just love to hear how you guys got here. Yeah,
I think when it's out, we'll disclose the budget. It was a significant
good move. Yeah,
it was a pretty significant amount of money.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
How'd you do that? Yeah.
I don't know. So like, basically I thought of this premise. I was like watching a bunch of Urbex stuff.
Yep.
And, I just like, I don't know, it just kind of came to me. And I remember sitting, like, Corey just got home from work or something, and I like walk into the kitchen. I'm like, Corey, I just figured out, like, I have this fucking idea. And I was like, we could make this. And I like pitched it to him, and he kind of like looked at me and he's like, that's cool. It's basically like the premise of the movie, with not the story built out the way it was, but just the premise of it. So then I came to James with it, and it was like a similar reaction. He like kind of looked at me. He's like, that's pretty sick. We could do that. And then we just started building the story around it. The two of us, we sat down and outlined it and started on the script. And then it just kind of was this thing where like, I think you make a choice that you're going to do something. And the two of us are just big on following through. Like, when we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And
let me stop you there. Now, James, when Karsen came to you with the found footage movie, was that like shocking? I know you guys connect on horror, but art house guy to like found footage premise, was that weird or?
Okay. Well, if anything, I was the more found footage savvy.
Oh, how dare you?
Again, I don't want to say any of that. it is funny that I don't know if I'd say Karsen is the art house guy of the two of us. We both like a lot of stuff. Karsen likes his trash movies sometimes too, just in different genres, like superhero and Star Wars.
No, it's not allowed. When you're a fan of the auteur, you cannot have comic books on your wall. See, it's evident. He has like pictures and stuff.
But even before Karsen came to me with that idea, we had briefly discussed maybe doing found footage because we had both wanted to do a feature, and we talked about the fact that doing a feature found footage would be a smart way to go about making that first one. And so that had been an idea that we had thrown out before, which I think that was one of the reasons you were watching Urbex stuff, right? It was because we had sort of talked about that.
Yeah, potentially. It's hard to remember. Probably though, yeah. I think it was probably a little surprising when I came to it with him, but then with the subject matter, it was not. That's like, I think this is totally some up my alley of like the brutal factor and stuff like that.
So when you're
big fans of slashers,
yeah.
Spoilers for anybody listening to this podcast that hasn't seen the movie, but it's a little slasher-ish.
Well,
Go ahead, Evan.
I feel like you came at this. It's interesting, like talking about the budget and the things you did with, like, for example, the prison cell. You were talking about you built the whole cell out of PVC and wood. I feel like a lot of independent filmmakers would go, "Oh, we don't have a prison cell. We just can't put that in the movie." Like, and they don't think about, no, you could just make it out of shit that you have. It doesn't have to be a like metal prison cell. It's like you can sell it. And the thing is, it looks so fucking legit in this movie. Like, and it's a combination of not only the craft of putting it together, but I think also the way you guys shot it, with the way you lit it, the fact that you shot it. What this brings me to a question part of it. What camera did you shoot on? Because I think that helps sell it too. The quality of the camera, the way it's fuzzy in the actual film, so it all looks so legit, even though, like you said, it's PVC and wood.
Well, we shot the whole thing on high 8. One of the cameras was the camera that Frogman was shot on, the A-cam that his character has. And then we bought a second one, which is actually the high 8 footage that's in Frogman Returns, was Zach's camera.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, but yeah, there was brief conversations about other formats and stuff, but I think we both felt pretty strongly that it should be shot on tape, especially for the time period we were going for and the like aesthetic of that time. It just kind of made sense.
So where do you go after you have the script? Like, what's next?
So we broke it down, and initially going into this, we were like, we could make this for like no money. And then James and I had a pretty finished script, and we were looking at it and we're like, it's going to cost a bit. So then it was kind of just figuring out what our actual budgetary needs were. And, we dug our heels in on some of the stuff like the nudity and the building a set for that set piece.
Okay, well, we're talking budget here, and the first thing you mention is nudity. Is there a price point that it comes attached with genitalia?
Well, it comes with like higher rates, and we knew we needed an intimacy coordinator, so that's like a whole nother person you have to pay for multiple days. And yeah, I mean, essentially after that, we built a pitch deck, practiced our pitch, came up with like a plan for the multiple avenues of distribution, including self-distribution as like a really strong backup, which if we don't get a great MG on one of these deals, that's like what we're going to do. And so then we just called every person any of us knew and was like, do you know anyone who would want to give 5,000, 10,000 here and there? And, basically like not even that, like, do they want to hear a pitch? Do you know anyone who wants to hear a pitch that might be interested in investing in our movie? And that was essentially it. We just called everybody we knew and was like, does anybody want to hear a pitch? And then we got a few people on the line and we pitched them, and we had this pretty solid plan on like returning their money and what the film was and like why it was different and why we thought it could stand out. within this subgenre. Like, I don't think we only had like 2 people that we pitched to not invest.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Which person hit you back and said, sorry, I don't have any money, but I have a prison that you can.
That would have been nice.
Yeah. That was free.
Yeah, so what was the situation with that?
We shot it in style. I don't know. I just literally Googled abandoned prisons in Georgia, and we found it. Like, I found it the day before we had a call with a locations guy, and then we get on the phone with him, and like right before the call, I'm like, hey, Karsen, I think we should shoot at this place, River State Penitentiary in Milledgeville. And he's like, all right, cool. We'll see what the locations guy says. And we get on the phone, and he's like, you guys should shoot at this place called River State Penitentiary. So it was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, me and James just looked at each other and we're like, all right, well.
That was meant to be.
And we went and scouted it. And it was funny you brought up the set where you're like, most people would just say, like, why do we need this? We went and scouted it and we're like, this prison's perfect. And then we go to have some lunch or something after. And Corey's sitting there and he's super excited and he's like, we got it. And I was like, yeah, so all we have to do is like build a set and then we're good. And he's like, what do you mean build a set? And it was a big point of contention. We got into like a huge argument at this restaurant.
It was we were sitting at the bar and the bartender, like, we hadn't like ordered yet, or we'd only gotten drinks or something. The bartender lady would kept like coming up to us and stand there for like a few seconds while we were arguing and then walk away. It was so funny.
It was very funny. And I believe this has since been sold. They actually sold it and handed it over to them immediately after we shot there.
Wow.
Yeah, we were on a deadline to shoot because of the contract that they had put in place with this other company or third party.
Man, that's a little daunting of being like, well, we can't, there's no going back and getting anything else.
Yeah.
This is it.
It was.
Like, we have a hard deadline on this place.
This is a crazy story. So it was stupidly, we started pitching around the holidays. Yeah. It was a terrible time to try to get people to give you money. But it was like early January, and we only had about 50% of our budget. So we had a meeting with our department heads, and we were like, hey, what is it going to take to like get all the props, all the effects, all the stuff ready? And they're like, well, we need to start in like probably a week. And we were like, well, okay, let's push out the shoot. We'll call the prison. We'll give ourselves a little bit more time to prepare. And we call the prison, and they're like, oh no, like those 10 days you have booked is the last time anyone can rent this place. Like, and we're like, what? And they're like, yeah. And we raised 50% of our budget in a week.
Damn.
And then started pre-production immediately thereafter. It was I still don't know how we did it. Like, we were sitting there and we're like, fuck, this movie might be fucked. And we're like, well, let's just dig our heels in. And for this whole week, we're going to get the money. And we did.
Yeah. I remember when you called me that morning, it was so stressful. But
so, a big part of that is probably, I just imagine, I mean, I've seen the movie all made. I can imagine that you guys put together a really good pitch deck. But earlier you had mentioned that you had a plan to return the investment. So what does that look like when you're because a lot of that would have to be, you're hoping that your movie's about to make money, right? Ultimately, that's the big business gamble here, is that you have a good idea. It's going to be an entertaining film. People invest in your movie with hope that they will get a return on that investment. And you went out to multiple people and like, what do you tell somebody when I think, you know, for like a broad audience, I think we just assume that micro budget or indie films just lose money, right? Like, well, there is no return.
A lot of it had to do with, go ahead, James.
Just looking into comparable films that, have information out there in terms of what their budget was and what that return on investment was. So if you can give people a comp as to, what this film is going to do based on a similar films, they'll feel a lot more confident about it.
Some of the knowledge that we had about, I mean, basically, we've talked to a ton of filmmakers, especially leading into the prep of this, and kind of figured out what worked and what didn't for them. And I think we just had enough like plan A, plan B, plan C. And I mean, they haven't gotten their money back yet, so we'll see. When the movie's not out. But I think we like figured out who this would appeal to and like what other people did that made them money, and kind of adjusted our plan to those films. And we're like, these are the avenues we can take. We have plan A, plan B, plan C. We have, doing research into foreign markets, merchandising, all that stuff as ways to return the investment. And I think we just did as much research as possible for us and them. And they just felt more comfortable investing in something that had multiple plans for return.
Dude, for sure. And I do think this is super important for filmmakers to hear. I don't think like a buttoned up businessman is so stingy with their money. They're just not they're frugal. And if you can make a pitch where it's like, oh, you're going to get something out of this, dude, I'm sure people will be more than willing. Also, who doesn't want to help out a fucking cool like indie project, especially like local? Like if y'all are living in Atlanta and you go to like local places, like it'd be cool. And I don't know. It sounds like you guys had so much pre-production that really that's like, okay, y'all are competent. Like this could work. Where we've talked to some people where it's like incredible. Like somebody lent you money, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, I think one of the things too is the team that we had attached when we were pitching. Like most of the crew was already attached, and like they had track records of being good at what they do. Like especially our effects department was stacked, and specifically like Omar Sifredo, who worked on the film. He, is like a professional effects artist. I mean, like he was on the show Face Off back in the day. He worked on Megalopolis. He's worked on like tons of huge movies, and we're friends with him. And that's just one example of like the great team that we had. Brooke and Kayla, who also worked on effects, have like great catalogs of the effects they've done. And so like stuff like that just really helped put our investors at ease, where we're like, oh, we're going to try to do like photorealistic violence. And we have like people who can do that. We're not just going to buy a Spirit Halloween head and put fake blood on it. Like, so, hey, it was just planning. We had a pretty solid plan, and I think they felt comfortable.
I know that was just a throwaway comment there, but shout out to the movie Headhunter, which is completely built out of Spirit Halloween stuff that is repurposed by a talented person.
Is it? That shit looks tight. Headhunter,
incredible.
Yeah, that's wild.
I've been meaning to watch that movie. I got to check that out.
It's Jordan Downey. The last thing he did was in VHS. He was part of the anthology. He did the like cops going into that house with the like vulture at the end. Yeah. That was his. Shout out to Jordan. He's a homie. But so okay. Yeah, so you get investors. Did you were friends with all of your cast before and crew, or did you actually have to pitch to any of them?
We're pretty good friends with most of them. Some of the cast, James did a good amount of the casting. But like Aaron Collins and I acted in a short film together, and I was kind of like, hey, you want to be in like a crazy found footage movie? Yeah. And I was like, well, read the script. And then she wanted to be on board, and some of the cast we cast most of the people. It's funny, one of the captives was my buddy Lamont, and this was like very early in the script. We've been friends since film school, and we were at Fantastic Fest sitting in some bar, and Corey and I are talking about like damn, casting the naked people is going to be real hard. Blah, blah, blah. And then Lamont just looks up and he's like, I'll do it. He's like, I'll do it for free. We paid him, but he was like, I'll do it for free. I don't give a shit. And I was like, all right, well, there's one down.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, we were pretty good friends with a lot of the crew. And so I think, you guys saw the group we came out with. Like, we're all pretty tight friends. It was a fun project to make because of that. Like, it was a tight-knit group of talented people that got along.
So how did the Frog Daddy himself, Anthony Cousins, get involved?
Anthony, so when Frogman came out, I really liked it, and I met him at Telluride Horror Show. And then I reached out to him on Instagram, and especially like when we decided we were going to do this, I was like, hey, like, can I get some advice? Like, I'd just love to talk. And we started chatting, and then we started chatting more and more. And then that following year, like leading up to the Killing Cell 2024, we went to a bunch of film festivals together, and then we just became like really good friends. And like at some point when he knew the movie was going to happen, he's like, I want to come help out on that. And so he was actually an AD for the block of, well, he was an AD the whole time, but he was our first AD for the block of days while Corey was helping oversee the set being built. And yeah, he's a great dude. I mean, so I guess long story short, we've been kind of buddies for a couple years now.
Damn. So a good pitch, man, there's no real like magic here. It sounds like y'all just did the work and were able to pull some money together, and you had a good script and idea.
You had a good group too, I feel like, just because like you guys had a lot of the crew out at UF, and it's just like you guys clearly had a good vibe. Like you had a good chemistry between the group, and I don't know. I'd relate it to like Jackass, for example. It couldn't work without the chemistry of the group, and I feel like you guys had that sort of chemistry where it's like maybe you don't all come from the same backgrounds or like the same things exactly, but it's like I don't know. You just had the right ingredients to work together,
which is important for a found footage horror film.
Yeah.
And probably that, like, a lot of the times, if you don't buy that these people are hanging out, it's like, okay, what am I doing? Like, like low Hollywood productions, like not a lot of money out of Hollywood, where you have like people on the weekend being like, oh yeah, I'm going to be in this found footage thing. Those movies are always doomed. Like, those are really the only ones that just don't work. And it's kind of a bummer because LA's right there, and it would be great, like, if they were pounding some stuff out. But yeah, it felt like we were with a real group of people. It's so strange. Like, everything here sounds very traditional. Like, we did the homework, we're making a movie. And then there's this thing of like found footage. And I have to ask, when you're pitching people like a found footage horror movie, how are they reacting? Because back in the day, it would be like, oh no, you're going to do one of those. And I feel like the stigma is almost completely gone. So did you get pushback from anybody? Like, why found footage?
Well, we weren't pitching to like traditional producers.
Yeah.
So that helped. And I think that there's been enough of a track record that there's a huge fan base for found footage. And I think the thing that helped the most was like, I do feel like our film is pretty different than a lot of found footage. I think if we stuck to like they go into a prison and it's like haunted and it's spooky.
Yeah.
Stuck to that, it would have been a tougher sell. But we had this extra element. And I think that element also could attract some other like horror fans, like gore hounds and people who like a little bit more extreme stuff. And so that was a part of the pitch also, is like there's this other audience of people that this film will appeal to as well. And yeah, we didn't get a ton of pushback, to be honest, on our pitches, the fact that it was found footage.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, that does kind of bum me out a little bit. Like, the whole premise of the film fest initially was I can't help it. I'm a contrarian. And being out here in the Bay Area, there's a lot of like very highbrow learned film, right? Like, we have so many independent theaters out here, and then there's a bunch of chain theaters, and then there's a bunch of, like, in Oakland, you could go see a movie in a church that's being repremised, or people will do it in their own home. It's like there's a lot of film culture. And the thing is, when you get that kind of like academic cabal, like this like elite group, they love to punch down. And y'all know horror is the first. Everybody can talk shit on a horror movie. It doesn't matter. And then horror people can talk shit on a found footage movie. So when we started doing the fest, it was like, we're rolling a boulder up a hill. Like nobody's going to give a fuck. But it was for us. So when I hear that there's no more pushback, I'm like, oh no.
Well, this is like, there's still a lot of criticism when people watch film.
Yeah.
I think that's what we've seen more. Sorry, James, go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah, I mean, in terms of that pushback or the criticism, we've seen that, after like playing at festivals, like no matter what, no matter how different your film is from Blair Witch, it's gonna get compared to Blair Witch, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think like overall, we've been lucky that we've got pretty great reception on the film. But there's some people, especially when you're not Unnamed, is like kind of everybody there is a found footage fan. But when we played at some of the other festivals, there's some people that just don't like found footage, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, it sucked." I don't think we could have won you over, no matter what, within this like format. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Some people just don't like it.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of the time, our festival is always great for people who have made a found footage movie. A lot of the time, the people who paid to make that movie, like if there's a certain level of budget, they'll straight up tell them, like, don't go there. And part of it is, I think they just want, like, especially just when we do our fest, a lot of the times it might end up being a premiere and they're like, no, we need to get bigger. And we end up losing these kind of like, not like Shudder released because they have their own built-in like platform, but movies that are high budget, hoping to do better. And we always tell them, like, dude, we could say we didn't do the premiere or whatever, but like, this is kind of a safe space for people who made a found footage movie. And you get an audience that isn't kind of, I don't know, because I could imagine if you're at a traditional horror film fest, you might show up and be like, oh, fuck.
It's like, you and one other person who are the found footage. There's like a couple found footage movies at most horror fests,
Well, but for us too is like getting programs because they only do one or two.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Dude, it's so weird. I mean, I get it because again, in my like hypothetical, I could imagine walking into a movie and having expectations and you see the framing device and you're just like, oh fuck, this is immediately not what I wanted. And it has nothing to do with anything other than like the characters are filming the movie.
Well, that's the thing I noticed with a lot of the ones that tend to play bigger festivals is like they don't follow the found footage rules as much. And a lot of the time when I go see those at the bigger festivals, they're like very polished and stuff. And they do like music and stuff like that where I'm like, it kind of pulls you out of the experience and you're like, well, this actually would have been a better movie, not found footage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you guys get cheaper, but it still has got this production value or whatever. Whereas like, I think like our movie, I don't think we wouldn't do this story if it wasn't a found footage movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's stuff that comes with that. You know what I mean? We're not like trying to do stings on the scares and we're not we wanted it to feel like a raw tape that somebody cut together and kind of gives you a timeline of this event.
Whenever I think of people who didn't want to make a found footage movie and then ended up there, I always think of Stephen Cognetti. He did Hell House LLC, which blew up, right? Became like, I remember watching that on Amazon Prime and being like, holy shit, this movie's actually pretty scary. And it had the great clown. It had a good device. And he got kind of captured by a format that he didn't really want to film in. And again, sorry, Steven. We talked to him so long ago that, I got kind of like an unfiltered expression. Like we talked to him before part 2 and during part 2. And he was like, well, I feel like I would be betraying the fans of the first one if I now made a traditional movie. Even though, to be clear, he wanted to make a traditional movie. And the problem with have you guys seen that franchise?
I've only seen the first
one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now if you watch it, you'll feel it as screenplay writers in 2 and 3. There's a level of like exposition where you're like, oh, there's like a traditional script in here that's trying to break through the format. Like they're telling you all this lore all the time. It's like, that's not why we're here. Like we want some like urbex shit. We want to look around like with directional lighting and be part of this group. Instead, it's almost like it gets a little like stage play.
Yeah. It's easy to do that. Like, there's a version of our script where like that journal, there's more stuff that they figure out, and we had to like whittle that back to where we're like, what's an amount of information that helps the audience a little bit, but also feels real and keeps the story moving, so that this isn't like, oh, because there's no way to like cut between stuff like a normal movie where they're like flipping through the books and they're like, and then this says this. It's like whatever somebody would read in the first 2 pages is what we're gonna say, and then move on. And that's gotta like make sense within this.
How much did you stick to?
The journal is decipherable if you want to go back and read it.
Yeah.
Shit.
I came up with the code, I think, and then James went through and like actually wrote out stuff from the lore that we built out in the first 2 pages.
Oh shit! So did you make like a cipher? Are we doing like a Zodiac killer thing?
Well, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, and it's mentioned in the film, like the key and everything. It's all there if you want to go through and.
Okay, so it actually works. Yeah.
It's basically like A is 26 and Z is 1, and it's all the letters of the alphabet numerically backwards.
And if there's 2 dashes, it's words. But if there's 1 dash, it's a space between letters, and then at 3 dashes, it's a space between sentences.
Dude, don't give it away.
It's in the
Make
movie.
Reddit work for that.
It's in the movie.
Yeah, but normally you have to realize whenever people say that kind of shit, I think it just washes over us because it's kind of like the internal logic of the world. But to actually put pen to paper and do it is a whole nother thing.
It was time I want someone to read it.
You know, it's funny in Hell House LOC, there's a journal. And I don't know if in the version, because there's a couple of them floating around, there's a deleted scene, so it might only be in the director's cut, where they have like a fucking spooky journal and they're flipping through it. And there's so much work in it. But in the better version of the movie, it's just completely cut. And it's like, man, somebody, like he really killed his darlings there, but it really helped the film. Like you don't want to front load that. And, I have to say, like the Urban Explorer stuff you were watching, you kind of tapped into a fear that I had when I was little. And, you know, we had some abandoned buildings over here and going in there. And I remember the scariest thing, the only time I ever felt scared going in there wasn't from like ghost or anything. It was like, holy shit, somebody living in here. And that was I just didn't want to like walk into a room and be confronted with a stranger in this kind of like Western idea where, in this space, there's no law because nobody knows. Like we're kind of here secretly, and like it's just like 2 people. It's almost like True Grit in the remake, where you run into somebody on the road. It's like ain't nobody here to help you. So
2 people are not supposed to be there.
Yeah, and what happens here? Like nobody may ever know. So yeah, I don't know, dude. It's kind of giving me chills now. I have like very vivid memories of being like, holy dude, it looks like somebody fucking lives here. We should leave, which not a spoiler. It's just a theme that comes up early in the film. And it really resonated with me.
Yeah. That was something that when I was watching all these, I was like, that's, you know, my mind was just running. And I used to do the same thing. We would, you know, break into abandoned houses and we'd find shit in there and we'd be like, there's one near my high school. We like ditched class one day and broke in, and there was just like bullets. It was like somebody had been like loading a gun in there, and there was like weird pentagram. Like it kind of looked
always
like
a pentagram.
There was a pentagram, but it looked like there was some type of ritualistic thing kind of going on, and then there was just a bunch of bullets and like magazines, and I was like, it was really fucking scary. We were like, all right, leave like right now. Because whoever's in here is not fucking around. And yeah, that was just like, that was kind of when I came to James, I was like, that would be fucking scary. That's way scarier than ghosts to me.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah. How much did you guys, you were talking about the script, how much did you stick to that when you actually started shooting? Because it's always interesting to me to hear. Like, all the stuff I've made has had no script. So it's like,
no way.
How much do people stick to the script or not? Especially when you have such a cool location. Like, did you, once you got the location, change things in the film to fit the location or to add a cool thing that was in the place? Or like, how much did you stick to the original kind of structure and script?
We didn't have to change much as far. There's a scene that was a gymnasium at one point, and then we turned it into a chapel.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
yeah.
But outside of that, we didn't have to change much for the location. And then I'd say, like, what do you think, James? I'd say almost 100% of the lines written in the script were said, and then a bunch of ad libs on top of that.
Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Like, there's a ton of ad libs, but most of what was written was said by our actors.
Yeah. And there's like brief sequences that were sort of entirely improvised. There's sort of like a brief montage at like the end of the first act or so where they're just exploring, and that was completely improvised. And there's some things that we come across there that was fun to reference that we wouldn't have known were there before we got there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was mainly curious about too. Yeah, is like, did you find things that you're like, oh fuck, this is rad. We didn't think we would have this, or we didn't even know this was a thing, you know, and then it winds up in the movie and you're like, we got to add that.
There was a good amount of that. There's one scene we actually did cut that was in the script. We shot the scene and then we just cut it out of the movie. It fucked the pacing up a little bit. So.
Nice.
There's a couple moments that we cut. They might be on the Blu-ray or something. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, I know we've hit an hour here. Do you guys have a hard out or anything?
I don't.
James?
I have a couple of work things I got to do, but I'm good for another like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, cool. James, so y'all are co-writer and director. How did you balance that? Like, was somebody more of a director and another more of a writer, or was it just like, is the co-director thing just because either of you at some time was holding the camera? I know a lot of people do that.
Or acting. Yeah. Like, I'd say there were days where one of us directed, slightly more than the other. But pretty equal overall, especially in the writing portion. Karsen tackled the first because we outlined it together. He tackled the first draft. And then I took that draft and then made edits, and then we sort of swapped back and forth until it was at a place we were really comfortable with.
And then as far as like the co-directing, initially James was going to direct, and then we ended up casting him.
Yeah.
and then we kind of like, just because of the nature of the complexity of how we shot things, and it just became more and more collaborative to the point where it like made sense for us to be co-directors because we were working heavily together, and the material that was in the script was already pretty well established. Yeah, it was pretty well established between us, so there wasn't any real creative differences, and if anything, it just helped a lot because like we could get in there and decide the coverage between the two of us that we're going to get for one of these scenes, and then just kind of go into it.
Did you guys have two units running?
The only closest thing to that was like the fact that we had our crew working on like sets and stuff, but we were never actively shooting two different things at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, and most of those scenes in the movie are like actual oneers. Like we would shoot the scene out until we each had a really good take to cut between on our cameras, and then very, very seldomly in that movie is there a shot. If anything, it's one or two shots, but most of the scenes are actually that whole take. we didn't mix and match takes between our cameras or anything like that. We like would roll both of them at the same time. And God bless our sound guy who was dancing around 360 cameras, 2 of them that are just going all around the fucking room, and he somehow avoided them.
Yeah.
But yeah, every scene pretty much is like a full take from our cast, and we're doing like 5-minute scenes pretty consistently. Yeah. So it was a lot of material to memorize. Our actors were really, really prepared. And there was a lot of coordinating, like all those scenes with the generator where like the lights come in and out. Like there was a whole team of people because like those moments are captured within like a multi-minute scene. You know, at the 3-minute mark, they're like, all right, now's the time that the lights go out or turn on or whatever. So everybody was just really dialed.
Damn, y'all really fucking pulled off a big production here.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking about the logistics of that, like timing the lights, and you got all these people running different things. Like that's a lot of shit, especially to be like, I don't know, you're a boots on the ground small crew, you know, like you don't have hundreds of people out here at your disposal. So it's impressive. That's cool.
Well, it's interesting just hanging out with y'all, how like low key you are. And I just imagine if having a co-directing team of people who had never really done it before, it could be turbulent for people around because, you know, part of leadership is just being confident. And even if you're not kind of projecting that, just so other people don't have worry. And I always imagine if you're co-directing, there's a lot of open dialogue that maybe people could hear and be like, holy shit, what are they like? They're not sure about this.
We
had conversations about every single moment in the film before we got there.
Yeah, that's true. And then when we're on location, if there's anything that needed to adjust, it was like we would intentionally step away from anybody that didn't need the information that we're talking about, just to kind of keep things, like you're saying, like the last thing you want is people doubting whether or not you know what the fuck you're doing. So anytime there was a problem, we tried to, you know, resolve it behind closed doors so that our actors could focus on acting and everybody could just focus on their job if it didn't pertain to them.
Okay, so co-director, co-writer, yet there is only one editor of the movie. And one of the things, whenever Terrell's not here, I get to talk about it. But my theory is that with in-world camera films, a lot of these movies are not only made, but often found in the edit. So the editor is kind of king when these stories come together. And Karsen, you ended up with this privilege, right? Did you do that completely alone?
Well, the thing is, like, even like James was saying, we talked about every moment. Like, even while we were shooting them, we were like planning the coverage and cuts pretty much on while we blocked out these scenes or ahead of time. And so like the edit wasn't super tough, but it was more about like trimming stuff down. And I think James trusted me a lot. I would do something. If I had any doubts, I would call him and like talk to him about it. But for the most part, you know, I would every time, once I had like the general cut, every time I made a huge adjustment, he would go through and watch it and we would talk. But I think for the most part, he liked most of the edits I made. I can't think
I would hope.
Anything I cut out and then you're like, put that back. But yeah, he would give me notes on other stuff. He noticed we could cut. And it was a lot of like, it was still very collaborative. And just because there was such a blueprint for the entire film, there wasn't like a huge worry of like, I'm going to take this and do something crazy with it. You know what I mean? Like, pretty much. I think when you saw probably that first cut, you're like, this is what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. It wasn't found as much in the edit as I think other films in this genre.
Oh, dude. Like Evan right here. I work well with Evan too. And I was thankful to be brought on as a co-editor on his film. And I'll tell you, there were a lot of long nights in Discord trying to like not only are you trying to edit something for pacing or like just to hold interest, but also you're kind of finding the story. So a lot of that is like hyper important. And it's just, I do think that is most people, like, believe it or not, most people don't come in as well prepped as y'all did. in every aspect, it feels like.
Yeah,
so a lot of the time they shoot the thing and then they find it.
Mm-hmm.
So did you all storyboard it? I wouldn't be shocked if you did.
We didn't storyboard, but we shot animatics of all the like big moments. So we like pre-cut those and then shot it. So we knew the edit for like those big scenes were going to work, and they're almost the exact same in the cut of the movie as they were when we. All
right. You guys close your ears, Evan. How much do you hate them now?
That's just so like wild to think about, like all that prep. Like that's just it's so opposite of what we did with Florida Man, where it was just like, all right, we're gonna talk to these people and go to these places, and when we get done, we'll have a movie.
Evan had some phone numbers and a plane ticket, and was like, "Here we go. Here's the movie." But Evan, here's the other thing. They're fucking young too.
Yeah,
so,
dude. When I was
hate them. We should.
When
hate
I was
them.
fucking 20. Well, no, I had a family and was working. When I was 21, though, I was smoking meth. So I wasn't at Full Sail, fucking thinking about my film career. So you guys have just like, I don't know. You're ahead of the game. I think you're well prepared to do even cooler shit.
So
no, it's
hold on, Nick. Y'all are very. You have good ideas. You can clearly execute shit. How did you guys end up going? And again, I promise this is the last one, but we're living in a moment right now where YouTube is starting to like become the new crop, right? Like, we have, Corey Baker, is that his name? Barker. Yeah. And then we have the Rocka Rocka guys just came out. And then of course we have the Bay Area Backrooms creator and A24.
Markiplier, Iron Lung's about to come out.
Well, that's even like a different thing, but like clearly YouTube has become a avenue that new filmmakers can take to get their movie out and then potentially snowball that into like an immediate career. And I feel like you guys could have made that choice here, or even with your prior film. And was that ever in the works, or has it always been like, we're going traditional?
I think we both feel like, I don't know. At least for me, I don't want to speak for you, James, but I feel the traditional route makes sense to me. And kind of when you're even talking too about like, how do we promise it's going to make money and stuff? I just think all of it like kind of boils down to like, did you make a good film?
Yeah.
And so to me, that's like my goal is to make a good film. And I think that it'll like speak for itself. And that's kind of what we're banking on as far as our careers go, is like hopefully this and then the next thing each of us make is kind of a proof that like we know what the fuck we're doing. And that's,
each of you make. We were not going to do another joint venture?
If the Killing Cell 2 happens. Mm-hmm. We've talked about co-writing some stuff and like, we'll continue to collaborate, but I think just like the nature of what this was, co-directing worked really great. But I think, we both like to direct our own stuff and like, sometimes I think like this is interesting. Like we both have some stuff in the works right now and like we like each other's thing, but it's like something neither of us would make.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
If that makes sense. Like it's like they're different sensibilities and it's shit we both like, but it's not something that we would each make. Like he's got a little crazy little thing that I fuck with really hard, but it's not something you would be like, oh, Karsen, of course he would make that. But it makes sense for James.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
All right, Evan, we got to let them go. Do you have another question you were dying to get out?
No, dude. No, I just think it's tight that, I don't know, to see people, you're kind of like on a low budget scale doing like a real production. Like you made this like a real movie, which is not something that's super common, I think, in the in-world camera space. Usually the process is not so like real like it was with y'all. So that's, I don't know, that's tight. And it's crazy that y'all are so young doing this. Like I'm excited to see both of these crazy projects that y'all are working on.
Also, just for people listening, I know Killing Cell's not available yet. I'm sure it won't be long. This film is very horror forward. I do want to state that because, again, when we mention like Rocka Rocka or like any of these, the A24 pickups from YouTube or Blumhouse, those movies always get this like layer of like they shift into like the highbrow, right? Like Milk and Cereal was a straight up found footage movie that was pretty thoughtful. But then when we come out with Obsession, that's a horror forward one. But I have heard people critique that it is like a little heady, which is kind of stupid. But clearly the Backrooms has a big leap. And it's like you can do both. And I think the Killing Cell here, when you make a good genre movie, you're navigating the tropes in that genre and you're like breathing new life into it. So although this one is completely an earnest found footage horror movie, it just, it deserves to stand out. So I just think you all did incredible. Yeah, I don't know. Evan, do you have anything you want to add?
Nah, congrats on the win. Much deserved, and I'm excited. Do you have any inklings you can give us or teasers you can give us for?
Come on, if you're gonna do the trail thing, you got to play it up.
Well, no, I mean, do you have any idea of with when can people watch Killing Cell? Tease us with something you're working on. I don't know.
What's he saying? He's like, what sneak peeks you got?
Yeah, sneak peeks. That's what he calls. I couldn't think of the word.
Well, I felt. Carson, you almost gave away what James was working on, and I'm like, can you guys talk about the next thing at all?
He didn't. I don't know. I'm probably not going to get into mine, Carson.
Boo.
I got a couple scripts I'm working on. I'm working on a couple things that they're pretty early, but I'm working on some stuff with Anthony that I'm co-writing.
Hell yeah.
And then I've got a 80s rock climber movie that takes place in Colorado where they face off against some Hells Angels in the South Platte.
Okay, hold on. What did you say? Rock glamour movie?
Rock climber.
Okay, rock climber. I thought you were talking like hair metal or something. I was gonna have to. Okay.
No, yeah, it's about a bunch of rock climbers in the 80s, and they get in a little skirmish with some Hells Angels.
Sold. Love it.
Man. Yeah.
And then I'm working on a crime thriller about a hitman that decapitates his victims.
Hell yeah.
That one I'm currently working on, and it would cost a good bit, but that's the next thing I want to make.
Dude, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's very not horror, other than it's really violent.
Yeah. I mean, dude, of course, it sounds exploitation.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like Cell Block 99.
Yeah, it's very Zoller Peckinpah inspired for sure.
Love it.
I just rewatched Way of the Gun recently, and I was like, "Fuck, I love this type of shit." Just those gritty, almost Western feeling crime movies.
Yeah,
they're so awesome.
Tight. I'm excited for both of those. You sure you don't want to tease anything, James? Look how fun it is.
I didn't expect that in the detail. I guess, I don't know. There's a collaborator who I've been talking with, starting to write a stoner comedy with him. Very different.
Fuck yeah.
And then there's an idea that I've been excited for a really long time. I did a short about it in college. And I want to expand on it in a feature. And it's just this very, very dark relationship drama with this sort of David Cronenberg-esque, David Lynch-esque element to it that takes place in New York City.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Tight.
Dude, y'all, God damn it.
Dude, I'm so in on all of this.
I know. Oh, yeah, you got activated stoner comedy. I saw you.
Of course.
I'll throw this out. If we do the Killing Cell Part 2, it will be narrative with some found footage elements, and it will be much more brutal than this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I am a little bummed that y'all are both trying to get away from our in-world camera, but I'm happy that we crossed paths here. Yeah. And I do want to say that, you have cheerleaders over here, no matter what you make next. And I mean, I'm wearing another hole in the head shirt. They're the 22-year genre festival out here. So any shit you have, let me know, because I'm going to try and trick y'all into coming back out here and getting kicked out of a bar.
No, we can't
again.
Oh, yeah. We'll say I am attached as a producer. We'll see what happens, but we are working on. James will be involved with it too. Another found footage movie.
Yeah. Oh, word!
Directing that, but it's got some of the team from The Killing Cell behind it. And yeah, we're finishing developing it, but it's we got a script and working on getting some money. So hopefully we'll be back next year.
Well, dude, stay in touch. I mean, seriously, anything you guys got going on, let us know. We'd love to share it on here. And any excuse to like talk to y'all again. We'd love it. I mean, I really think you guys are going to crush it. Clearly, you made something that has been hard for people for decades now, which is just a like boots on the ground found footage horror film, and you pulled that off. So I don't think you all have any limits here. Congratulations again.
Thanks, guys.
This was tight. Thank y'all. And thanks, y'all. I was going to do my Terrell impression. Go ahead. No. I'll close this out with my Terrell impression. Go ahead.
I was going to say when the film's out, if you guys want to have us back on, we'd love to get into some of like the more spoiler territory.
Let's do it.
Talk about how we did some of the gore and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get Corey on here too and talk about how he like pulled asbestos out of that building. I cleaned a corpse of a cat out of an RV for a movie that I worked on. So it's fun doing that kind of like blue collar work for a movie. Just feels so tight. It's kind of like it's the grunt work that you would get paid nothing for, and then just be like, well, I get to pay rent. But then it's like when it's for art, it's like, oh man, I can't wait to pour bleach all over this so that the pretty girls can walk in here and not be scared. Like, there's something about it that's so magical.
It is.
Yeah. But again, I love you guys. Evan, do your outro.
Well, y'all, that's been another episode of Footage Foreplay. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, y'all. Love you.
Love y'all. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Footage Foreplay. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving a review, sharing it with a friend, or simply hitting like. These small gestures are a great free way to support this mayhem, and if you find some footage we should be fondling, email us at footageforeplay@gmail.com. Check back every Tuesday and Thursday for new episodes, and remember, don't skip the foreplay.